Namaste. Welcome to the 13th video in the overall series and introduction to Sanatana Dharma. In some of the earlier videos, we spoke about Nama, names, good, bad names, so called. Then the concept of Sahasranama. In this particular video today, we will be talking about the names of Hinduism, the faith or the religion or the way of life itself. Now, one interesting aspect is there was an article, a news article I saw, I think, in the last 1 or 2 days, where a certain MLA had a suggestion to take his oath of office or the oath that MLA is supposed to take, substituting the word Hindustan for Bharata. Probably after uh, listening to the video today, you may agree that he might actually prefer the term Hindustan to Bharat or Bharata, so to say. On top of that, the COVID Chinese virus or COVID-19 seems to be picking up again, especially in the northern part of the country. Please do take care. It's getting cold. Bangalore itself has become pretty chilly in the past couple of days. Please do take care. Let's get into the video today. Let's start with Hinduism. The word Hindu is derived from the Sanskrit word Sindhu. Sindhu is the name of the river Indus in Sanskrit. India derived from Indus. Sindhu gave rise to Hindu, Hindustan. That way, the word Hindu and Hindustan referred originally to a place and not to a faith. Probably this originated from the Persians. Now, if you look at Parsi, Zoroastrian, Persian texts and compare them to the Vedas, they are, in fact, in a lot of places, are identical. There are some differences, obviously. Apart from that, in the language, one thing that you will notice is that Sa is replaced by Ha, Asura, Ahura, Sapta, Hapta. So, like that. That way, Sindhu slowly translated to Hindu because of the change in the pronunciation. Right? That way, Hinduism is born out of the word Sindhu, which referred to the Indus River. Again, originally referred, in fact, even today, you can say that it refers to the land, the culture, the people. At the same time, there's nothing wrong. In fact, it is today a faith, a living religion, it's a way of life, it's everything. That is the first name that we're looking at, which is Hinduism. Now, the second name that we will look at, obviously, Hindu Dharma, Hinduism or Hindu Dharma is the first name. The second name that we can look at is Vaidika Dharma. Obviously, Hinduism is derived from the Vedas. The entire foundation of Hinduism is found in the Veda. The Vedas are not supposed to be an encyclopedia of everything. However, they deal with that knowledge by knowing which everything else becomes known. This is one reason for their supremacy. In fact, this is the reason for supremacy because this knowledge that we are talking about in the Vedas is the knowledge of the divine. That by knowing which everything else becomes known. Please note one thing, therefore, anything that is not having a basis in the Veda has no place in Hinduism today. So, if somebody says I have a modern god or a foreign god, so to say, not part of the Vaidika Dharma, not part of the Hindu Dharma, they cannot be, they do not have basis in the Vedas. As we mentioned earlier, Shanmatas or the six gods, the Agamas and all that we discussed some time back, right? Those are the Vedically accepted gods. They and their incarnations, obviously, are the only acceptable gods by the Vedas. Nobody else, as far as Hinduism is concerned. Okay, I'm referring to that. Now we come to the concept of Sanatana Dharma. The word Sanatana basically means eternal. Eternal basically means there is no restriction in terms of Desha or Kala. Desha basically refers to space or place. Kala obviously is time. What do we mean by this? Now, let's talk about time first, past, present, and future. Whatever concepts we talk about, the existence of God, divinity, spirituality, have existed since like forever, are present today, will exist forever, whether or not we exist. Concepts that are dealt with in Sanatana Dharma, Parabrahma, the defining concepts, these are all eternal. There is no beginning or end, even so to say. Adyantarahita, right? That's a term that you will occasionally hear. Adi Anta Rahita. There is no beginning, there is no end. Now coming to Desha or space, why is there no restriction in terms of space? Now, the moment we say names like Durga, Vishnu, Shiva, Parameshwara, somebody might say anti-Indic, and they're restricted to India. But if you remember our earlier video on the Sahasranama, we discussed that names are actually adjectives. So when we say that Shiva, the auspicious one, or Vishnu, the one who pervades everything, are these not universal concepts? Does somebody in the US or even for that matter another planet or another galaxy not want auspicious things in life, good things in life? If God is pervading everything here in India, does it not mean that He is pervading everything everywhere? That is the reason there is no restriction in terms of Desha and Kala. That is what the Sanatana Dharma basically means. No beginning, no end. Then another name that we can look at, we spoke about the Vedas. Vedic mantras obviously were visualized by the mantra drashtas we today know as rishis. The term Arsha refers basically to something which has been derived from a Rishi. So that which belongs to a Rishi can be called Arsha. So the faith that we have today as Hinduism is called Arsha Dharma because all the concepts that are available today to us in this world were brought forth because of these rishis or the antradrashtas. In fact, one of the debts we carry in life is towards these rishis because the entire corpus of knowledge on which our entire existence, creation, everything is based, ultimately is derived from the knowledge that was brought forth by the rishis. And that is what Arsha Dharma basically means. Now, coming to Bharatiya Dharma. Remember that MLA saying that I would prefer Bharat to Hindustan. Now let's talk about a few things. So now I hope it is now clear that Hindustan need not necessarily refer to only Hindus, but to the entire land. Now let's come to Bharat. It in fact is even more Hindu, if I can use that term. It is an even more core concept for Hinduism than the word Hindu, because ultimately, though we colloquially refer to the faith as Hinduism, the word Hindu is ultimately not from India, it is foreign. Right? Bharata is Vedic. How? Now, Bharatiya obviously is an adjective of Bharata, derived from Bharata, right? That is what Bharatiya means. Now, which Bharata are we talking about? We have Bharata in the Ramayana, we have the son of Dushyanta in the Mahabharata, we have Rishabhadeva in the Bhagavatam. His son, there was a Bharata, I think he was later referred to as a Jada Bharata, if I'm not mistaken. There are various Bharatas. Now, ultimately, if they were named Bharata, it basically means that name already existed at that point of time, right? So, in a way, Bharat or Bharata Desha ultimately came out from this word Bharata. And what does this have to do with the Vedas? Bharata can refer to the Supreme One, Parabrahma, or to Agni, or more specifically, Yajna or sacrificial fire. Please note one thing. In multiple places in Hinduism, you can talk about the epics, you can talk about the Sahasranamams, Puranas, whatever, wherever you look at, you will see concepts related to yajnas or sacrifices, fire sacrifices, interspersed throughout. This entire culture, this entire country is yajna bhumi. Right? You may refer to this term called karma bhumi. Now, one of those karmas is yajna karma. Yajna. So, you will see this concept of yajnas pervasive throughout Hinduism. Now, let me give you one small example. Kumaraswamy, Skanda, Muruga, Subramanya, son of Shiva and Parvati. Right? Now, Shiva and Parvati are not just a man and a woman. Shiva refers to the heat or fire element. Devi, Parvati, refers to the coldness or the cool element. So, the entire creation is made up of the amalgamation of these two concepts of heat and cold. It is only when both of these coexist in a certain harmony is creation life possible. That way, Shiva and Parvati, for example, do not refer to a man and a woman, but to these divine concepts. One of those concepts is this Agni and Soma, or basically heat and cold. Now, when we look at the sacrificial fire or Yajna Agni, the fire obviously is hot. what is being offered into it, ghee or something, some offerings are, let's say, cool or cold, right? So the offerings are being poured like this from top to bottom, and the sacrificial fire is obviously burning up. Fire obviously always burns up. Now, so there's an upward pointing and there is something pointing downward. So the so-called Star of David is actually a symbol of, or we can take that as a symbol of Subramanya. How? The upward pointing triangle refers to the sacrificial fire or yajna. The downward pointing triangle refers to the offering that is put in the yajna. So, born out of the union of this fire and offering, born out of the union of Shiva and Shakti is Subramanya. That way, Subramanya refers to the uh, yajna in totality. Right? That this way, this is one example. This way, there are many more examples I have probably not even heard about till date, where you will see reference to this yajna concept. Now, Bharata refers to yajna. Why? How? In a yajna, basically what happens is there is fire, there is kunda, yajna kunda, agni kunda, where there is fire burning. Offerings are put into it. Agni is said to carry these offerings to the gods. They become happy because of the offerings and then give us benefits, material benefits, spiritual benefits, whatever they are. This is an underlying concept of yajna, that there's an offering carried by fire, and that is why it's called Havya Vahana. The Agni or fire carries those offerings to the gods become happy and they give us boons or benefits. So Bharatva is derived from this, the etymology is Bharatva Ramanatvat. Bharatva basically means to bear, to sustain, or to feed. Yajnagni is basically bearing the offerings that are put in the Yajnagni to the gods. And Ramanatva refers to the to happiness. Now, remember these names: Lakshmi Ramana, Sita Ramana, Janaki Ramana, Venkata Ramana. That Ramana basically talks about happiness or Ananda or bliss, not simple I'm happy. I'm happy. Indescribable. Certain phrases can't be described. Now, that way, Bharatva Ramanatvat Bharataha. From Bharata we have Bharatiya. That way, Bharata refers to Agni. So, Hinduism is the faith that is followed by those that believe in the Yajna. So Bharat is derived from that, not just that. And that is the reason this is everything to do with the Vedas. Going ahead, Parabrahma, God, right? Now, God obviously sustains us, bears us, feeds us, obviously. And Ananda, Ramanatva or Ananda, bliss, is one of the defining concepts of God in Hinduism. For that matter, God in general, bliss, happiness, joy, whatever you want to call that. Satchidananda, Ananda, right? Ananda is bliss, happiness. Now, in fact, Tyagaraja Swami, the one of the trinity of the South Indian or classical music, Carnatic music, was the same Tyagaraja. He, in fact, has a kriti called one of the Pancharatna kritis, beautiful, Jagadananda Karaka, where he refers to God as He who provides happiness to the world or to creation entirely. In fact, the word Rama itself means that. One of the meanings of the word Rama is that He who makes things, makes everybody happy. Now, that way, this concept of bliss, Ananda, and that concept of bearing, sustaining, feeding also applies to Parabrahma or God. That way, Bharatva, Ramanatva refer to God, Bharata, Bharatiya. That way, Bharatiya Dharma, Bharat, belongs to those people who follow this Yajnagni, who follow these concepts of the Yajnagni or the sacrificial fire, and also believe in Parabrahma. That way, Bharat is even more Vedic than the term Hindu, which ultimately has come to us from outside India. I would like to end this video here. I think I went longer than I intended, especially on the last slide. I added a small sentence in the last slide, and that word your in that particular slide has a special significance. I will touch upon that at a later point of time in a different video. It is one of the most core concepts of Hinduism, which unfortunately a lot of people are not aware of. So finally, please do take care. COVID is, I think, coming back, making probably the second wave. Please take care. Thank you for watching this video. Namaste.